So the fact that they're still having their fun, still getting hype, it's a good look going into this match for them.
All right, Agent Select 2. I love to see we had highlighted Tasty in the Impact and that they can have it as series, and seeing it on this double duelist is so exciting.
I had my questions here for AKV. Last time they played this map, they won a 13-0, by the way, but it was with a very different composition. They were playing a double duelist, just like they're doing right now, but with Arena instead, and that core looked just a little bit different. I feel like this one does make a lot more sense. I'm excited to see the Waylay here, and a lot of those openings that they're able to find. We usually have been seeing a lot of that combination with the Waylay plus the Euro, but also the Wraith. It just seems like it's an essential piece here for the map of Bind.
It's a switch up, but with a cracked player, the Waylay can be so dangerous. It's time to see if WADA is ready and up to the task, as it's time to head into the first map of the series. Who is going to take Bind? It's time to find out with your casters. Welcome, Vansili and Lemon Kiwi.
Thank you, Sierra. This is an intense doubleheader for WADA, and they're going up against a 5-headed Hydra in AKV. And WADA's LCQ fate is on the line, Vance, and they certainly want to rewrite what happened here on Bind.
Exactly. The best thing you can do right now going to this game is just forgetting what just happened on that previous series. Shaky start, slow start. You now know the environment for a lot of these new players, such as Astralis and Judah coming onto the stage. Now Starbound's going to get tested first, though, in order to get contact on a split to the B site from AKV.
You would think the advantage here is for WADA. You had that warm-up, and Starbound, she's just starting to fire up. AKV, though, man, matching fire with fire. They had a solid warm-up, too. Ivy is able to strike. The spike is down. It's a 4 versus 3 on the post plan, and so much excitement already on the pistol. A look at Juna try to sneak their way through the elbow side. AKV keeping their distance, especially after losing Ivy. And now it's just chaos trying to find each other through the smoke. And AKV, the post plan, is holding on just barely. And it's Dono to put them all down.
Nice little flick for the 2K piece for Dono for sure, but kicking things off was definitely seeing the aggression that was mentioned at the desk, something that MIBR was doing very well against. WADA just previously was just continuously adding that pressure, consistent pressure, and making sure you have a buddy system to train. Because if you're looking at how Starbound's career playing around the map, they are giving them a lot of responsibility to try to anchor on a solo and going for that first blood, just as they always had in North America. But as soon as you give up that space, it's so hard to retake. Great positioning by AKV, and they convert now a very good pistol to start running away with this, walking out for contact, and unfortunately, it's being met by, once again, a buddy system that, or actually just information. It was a Guardian, the other one fell back, so they could just pivot back to the A site plant.
You give that Guardian that you were able to recover to Adora, and big shoes to fill, but especially excitement from the EMEA squad about what they can provide. And it's Tasty. No, that is just shutting down any opportunity here out of WADA. And that's all said and done. AKV making very quick work of the first 2 rounds.
It's definitely looking dangerous if your star players on the side of AKV are already looking like they are playing a regional matchup, because they have been so dominant in LATAM as well when they were playing in the group stages before they made it into the grand finals to face off against KRÜ. Tasty and Light had amazing rounds, maps, series against all of their opponents, and of course fell short against KRÜ, who is one of the most dominant organizations in the GCC that we currently have, coming out from the Americas year after year. So to see them already step up to the plate and making it difficult for WADA to find their footing, this might be a difficult series once again for the North American team.
Oh, the haunt from WADA did reveal AKV infiltrating into U-Haul, and that's where the shotgun could be quite powerful. You see WADA keeping their distance, keeping the corner, and Showers control, trying to corral AKV into a space. They can just keep their distance and let the rifles do all the talking. The AKV, they have the clock on their side, and now Molly's from WADA being thrown, trying to make this post play uncomfortable. Now figuring it out the hard way. There's a shotgun. And this is just not going to be a spot that WADA can really push to. And AKV are forcing WADA to play their hand first. And Astralis will do exactly that. Put Showers control infiltrated, and AKV came from all sides. 3 in a row for them.
Now WADA is going to have to start realizing that they have to up the tempo a lot more quickly when it comes down to these retakes, especially when you saw that molly from the Brimstone having a lineup for the side of AKV. So the more time you waste trying to scale back into the site when AKV's not showing their hand, the more you're rushing into these mistakes. You saw how many players got caught off guard here on these rotates, especially into the U-Haul. This pick right here from Juna, she walks into this solo. There's no prowler following behind. There was none left. There was no buddy system to try to go for a trade. And when you've already isolated one entrance with the molly, might as well go for a second player to guarantee a trade to give you a chance to come back. So these are some of the things that we're kind of showing in that first series that unfortunately we haven't really had a chance to talk it through, it seems like, to really run up with this buddy system for the side of WADA, so they have more of a fighting chance here in this series against AKV.
And this has been a must ban for AKV for so long, and they're the ones who look confident. They're the ones that have a game plan. They're leading that right now. Quick teleport out, kind of a bait and switch from WADA. And even on those lower buys, they don't let AKV get away with a flawless. And WADA recovering those rifles, or at least trying to, and AKV quick with a switch up too to deny that teleport position. WADA feel very trapped. Surprised AKV didn't want to keep them there, but they just kind of want to help support the spike at A.
See, it still makes a difference though when you're keeping up with this buddy system for WADA. Despite this being an eco, they still had the right numbers to go for a couple of trades in a pinch that they had from the back. So with these peaks coming through, I mean, this should still be around for AKV unless Starbound's able to win this one-on-one. Does get the dink and the kill. This actually starts creating gaps that allows WADA to pinch her back. And I love that AKV are trying to flip the fight towards spawn.
Starbound is looking so much better in this match. All of WADA swinging together. Just talking to their coaches. It's looking cleaner, but still, man, just having to walk into these crosshairs. AKV come in lined up, but PowerPixel remains on top and will get that defuse for WADA.
Another round for WADA that gets it from the first series and the second series, the GC Sheriff, to open up a round on their side. The thing is I was praising into the side of AKV when you already had Starbound on that big flank and winning that fight against the Rays. The thing is when I talked about flipping that site, you left the Whaley alone towards heaven. I thought their Brimstone was going to move forward with them too to try to help out, but you kind of left everybody isolated. The other two are trying to play the time, trying to hold back here towards that spike, and then they're just giving individual one-on-ones over here, as you can see. So again, you can't really discredit WADA when it comes down to these one-on-ones. Yes, maybe they weren't able to really go toe-to-toe against MIBR, but this is still WADA that has tremendous firepower rather, with a lot of experience between Starbound and PowerPixel.
But the AKV just running it down, trying to get maybe that orb 2 for Adora, and just gets checked at the door. The bodyguard, the off shot. And Tasty has to dash in. Starbound is still the final boss. Just finally now AKV will put them down. But this has done tremendous damage now to AKV, and Adora has the element of surprise. Now through the side, already with one. Boombot, the kind of act as bait to draw out those shots. 1v1. And now the showstopper to end it all through the hallway.
Oh, no.
It does not connect. It splashes on the wall. And Ivy just playing their lives. And now to kill all noise, to be on Adora's tail. Adora is still searching, has no idea, and now has to bring the party to their doorstep. Now get the defuse halfway. Ivy just playing hide and seek and locks in when it matters.
Pre-fired shot coming through a little bit too early with the showstopper from Adora. But unfortunately, as you've mentioned here, Lemon QE has to fill a big shoes. That's Aria not being able to play with the team and travel to Brazil to play with WADA. But you saw the idea. They went for the boombot towards that front site. If it does spot something there, okay, well, maybe they're playing front site. If it doesn't get the boombot follow, maybe they're playing middle or back site. So you pre-fire the shot through the vents, trying to get it into the tin. But unfortunately, it was just a wraparound from Ivy instead of fully re-clearing towards that back of the site. So decisions had to be made. You had to gamble of where your last opponent is at, and Ivy was able to play that to perfection.
Oh my god! Lied! It's insane! What is going on, AKV? You just have to throw numbers at them. They are suffocating to play against. Now on their tail, though, is PowerPixel and just barely misses that timing. The Seize is not going to grab anyone. That was a window that PowerPixel could have gotten a lot of kills going for WADA. AKV so quick to plant. And really, they turn into a more conservative team when the spike is involved. They just play behind cover. A Starbound in heaven trying to coalesce here with PowerPixel. AKV just hiding in smoke, hiding in cover. A tag, but not the kill. PowerPixel is able to break through. That heaven power position's now gone, and AKV work together as a team to get to 5.
That is difficult, and yes, it looks like AKV is a whole different beast here going into this game, and it only makes sense. They haven't been playing this map in a very long time. They've been perma-banning it in their own region, and as Dandra had mentioned before, they're playing with a Reyna and a Sky in the past. Now they're pulling this out, this double dive that you have between both the Waylay and also the Raze to move forward. It's something that's not really practiced for the side here of WADA. Within their own region in NA, I don't think they've ever played too many binds themselves, and when they did, they never had to face off against this aggression out from a KO and a double dive. So they have to rethink this through on the fly as we go round by round.
After that big round from Lai, the showstopper there, like that reaction from WADA. Give up that shower's presence. Don't even hold the corner. You lost to the boom bot before, and you keep your distance. You keep your shot steady. WADA still have the op involved. And AKV just have 2 left. Spike is being recovered. Could go for a teleport play, but with where Ivy is, they're just going to have to keep committing to A. And keep committing to what the information they have left. At least spotting one. This U-Haul player could be an issue, though, and Ivy's gonna watch back sight, leaving some gaps here. Very uncomfortable. AKV can still try to go for a plant, and you got the mark. AKV got to push this duel, and we're careful enough to not walk into a crossfire. WADA can always count on PowerPixel to get a flank going, to be the playmaker. As AKV really don't have any cards left in their hand to play.
Still great patience coming out from WADA. Ivy could still get things done, though. She's wrapped around in the past before. Now finally just got spotted by PowerPixel.
PowerPixel knows how injured they are, too. Oh, Starbound! Oh, you can't choke that! As Ivy gets another chance at life, another breath in the lungs, takes that duel, and just decides to leave with the spike. 10 seconds left, we'll just barely have enough time.
There's just no way. Even then, once you get the plant, you have also the element of surprise to be able to reposition. So Starbound has to come up quickly, push forward so that Ivy cannot fall into any tucks, nooks, and crannies. Give it a chance for them to retake now.
I don't know if they fell around elbow. Finally, Starbound hits the shot. It rings true. And WADA try to stay in that shadow there of AKV.
Look pretty good. I was going to mention again, the patience coming out from WADA on that 2 versus 2 on the A site. After the whole chaos of the double ulti on the attack side of AKV was snuffed and held back. They just wanted to hold their angles so that PowerPixel could actually go on that big flank from Sands into short. If they TP into the B site and get a plant, at least you get a 3 versus 2 with still util between Brimstone and a Fade to work with. So I like that coming through here from the side of WADA, just to adapted to the mid rounding of what AKV was doing again against their aggression. So sometimes you're going into these forward positions as well from the side of Starbound to try to get these early picks, the responsibility that's given to them. But the next layer is that there is actually players very close by to instantly trade out as soon as Starbound gets information and they TP away. So you don't lose that space that's been given up if you miss an op shot. And you're doing a great job at that, at least to anchor up and hold down towards this A site. And it seems that AKV understand this a little bit here, so they're gonna break this wall, cut some noise, trying to place some inserts towards this B site, and then we'll see what type of picks we could get here on the attack side.
PowerPixel will stand with the judge in hookah. Solo, though, with a nightfall that could be used to delay, but it's gonna wait for noise. And now that WADA, the rest of the team are calling just how quiet things are, PowerPixel has to be ready. Orbital strike from the offense is gonna sure shake things up as PowerPixel readies. And at the back is Starbound that joins their side, and the nade of all things is what ends Starbound and drops the op. And AKV get comfortable towards the back to try and halt the reinforcements of WADA. AKV still trying to get a plant. PowerPixel is lurking, but can't really do much with the judge in hand at that range. And now it's the nightfall. from PowerPixel to set up the team for success as Adora leads that charge and Ivy has to play Ring Around the Rosie. And WADA really surrounded and conquered, taken back over the site. And this is where the judge gets to have some fun.
And it's perfect. Even though WADA had to use their Nightfall to be able to get and retake that site towards B, it was already that plan. When you have so many players anchored up on the A side, B site is very hard to retake. So now that you have big ults for flood retakes, you're giving that responsibility for the anchors on the B side to play a little bit soft or just to anchor up one side, which is, I think, the way they played this 4-1 with only one towards Hookah at the very start until finally Starbound goes on a rotate later to help out here and get these picks. But after that Nightfall, look at all these tethers. They had all the information of where AKV were setting up here in the pulse plan. So it was just easy for everybody to move through and get these picks as they're rescaling back on that map. And with that ult that they use, they still have more to work with on this defensive round.
Oh, the Boombot kind of slipped by, and that's where Adora got away with the first blood. An important gap left. A Starbound again with the op, and again wrench-free in the minds of AKV of how do you want to push A when you just got this forward op? See if you can push through showers. This is where Lied really shined, but at currently 3 HP, it won't be up to them, and now they're gone for good.
And that's a big kill. With that push and that type of pick, and also the Prowler looking towards Long B, it's a checkmate. You know that AKV are trying to split towards this A site. The question is now, do you want to go for the convergence path to try to take over this A site after the single Brim smoke? That's probably your only way of entry. If not, you're getting popped here by Starbound.
Okay, conversion path. Oh, Starbound under pressure does not connect.
No
and
way.
Astralis puts them all 6 feet under. This defense catching up.
Becoming a free spot like a turret. You had Timmy the turret. Astralis just standing on that bench because the Molly missed them. So it was missed her. So it was easy for Astralis to just look back and forth, and that bench is never going to get checked. So I love what we saw here from two players that unfortunately again had slow starts in their first match against MIBR because of their first time standing up on the stage. You see how much this means for somebody like Astralis and Juna to play aggressive, to find angles and getting value. That is going to start looking like a dangerous WADA the more rounds we move forward.
Speaking of moving forward, AKV, no, they got to try and access this op one way or another. Quick recall out. Astralis feeling good, becoming an absolute laser. Gets away with another 3K. Showstopper somehow does nothing, but AKV have not given up. They have not surrendered. They have their own fragger on the field. And Tasty is just getting started.
They pinged it.
PowerPixel always up to no good. When quiet and left alone at Hookah, they find the right moment to strike.
And that's heads up play. The more rounds you're playing through against WADA, that AKV are knowing that PowerPixel is going to come for these type of flanks. So they come for these warnings. They ping on that mini map, and you almost saw that duel happen. If anything else, though, everything was well blocked off. You threw a wall here towards that Hookah spot, so that even if you had to TP across, you have no way to go there for that last player remaining of AKV. That said, even though if the Showstopper can get enough value in terms of kills from Adora, that's still great satchel mobility and movement to avoid the other players shooting at them, so to delay enough time here to allow for the others to crunch back in and help out and maintain the defense here towards this short A. Which, by the way, let me tell you, this seems to be this type of story right now for the defensive side of WADA. They are really, really good at anchoring up this short A side and leaving some sort of gaps on these extremities, because it almost feels like however they're reading this game against AKV, AKV seems to be focusing on these short lanes a lot more often at the beginning of these rounds when they're defaulting.
I love this stat line because we have reiterated that this has been a must ban, and AKV have not played this since March. And I was also worried about WADA, kind of how even this playing field was gonna look, because they just came off of a really, really tough loss. And Astralis especially having a rough series, 10 kills total. And look at them now. They got 6 kills in 2 rounds. They're popping off. They're 1v3. This is the Astralis that I'm looking forward to seeing develop when it really matters, though, because if WADA lose this, they're out of LCQ.
It is definitely a tough road for WADA right now. You're playing against one of the best teams that we currently have in GCC as your opening start as grand finalist of last year in MIBR. and you get one-sided results not into your favor for WADA. And now you have to try to play the comeback into this one too. And there was some good damage onto Tasty where they got no value out of that dive. That's a great start to snuff out and stuff actually the attempt of getting some space after the timeout from AKV.
Yeah, back-to-back rounds where Tasty's trying to get that information, see where the op is set up, and sacrifice themselves like if needed. But it's not gonna be there. And now you're at a big disadvantage already. Now it's full exploration mode where Starbound's actually holding through the left side. We'll reveal that hand so AKV could at least farm this orb and get a showstopper going potentially.
There.
You maybe a... Yeah, I was gonna say you need a pop flash or something to get light across to try to get that showstopper. Starbound's not gonna miss twice.
Absolutely. As AKV will have to make do without that showstopper. Just one away from the Nightfall, but it's the orbital strike from the defense. And Power Pixel A letting it rain. AKV have no security besides behind their own smokes. Now I don't think they want that smoke anymore. This is 5 rounds in a row for WADA.
Yeah, if anything, they die through the smoke when they're trying to scale back into the site. It comes the experience again of the XEG players in Starbound and Power Pixel A. They tried to go for a C's orbital strike to prevent the flood from coming out. But even if it doesn't hit anybody, you see how they're actually trying to scale towards that right side. It becomes easy for the sprays to come out here for Power Pixel A, getting 2 through that smoke, and then Starbound finding that value by pushing through. Even that haunt got so much value from Power Pixel A, and that B site is unlocked when those two are playing together. And it seems as though AKV with this round, they still want to try to go for it, though. You talked about those big ults that are available for their side, so they are going to try to pincer and split the B site.
Starbound, always good for that, but the null command activated. AKV have Dono back in, who just becomes another victim. Na'Vi chokes under pressure. No, he's able to at least trade. WADA are ahead, but just barely able to just stifle the fire from AKV to really slow them down to such a pace. Now it's just Tura with the spike.
Casey just got a huge surprise when they came back from their TP. Kind of felt like Ben Stiller and Zoolander just hopping out of the mine coal and surprising his dad. And then unfortunately now just puts Tura alone in a 1 versus 3. The best bet they're going to try to do now is just cross over towards A. Becomes a beautiful shot by Australis. Again, crosshair placement in the immediate shots connected by Australis. That's a great start, and confidence continues to build for WADA.
Absolutely. We have 2 newer players, right? We already know about Adora, who has to integrate almost instantly on this team, and to pull off this double header too is quite the workload on WADA's plate. But also I look at someone like Tura, who only had 5 official matches. Maybe that's enough for most players, but to kind of be in that role of IGL to frag, there's a lot on the line. They're going to need that fan support. So we're going to go and check in with the AKV fans in the crowd.
Cara, se liga, eu tô aqui com uma fã brasileira, mas que tá pela AKV, inclusive com um bandeirão e tudo. Quero saber da onde que veio essa história. So I'm here with Daniela, who's a Brazilian AKV fan with the flag and everything. So I want to know where is this story from. Como é que foi isso, cara? Bandeirão e o caramba. Eu vi que tem uma galera, inclusive, aqui com bandeirinhas que a AKV entregou. Como é que foi?
Então, eu tenho muita amizade com o pessoal da organização e também com as jogadoras, então aí eu conversei um pouco com o pessoal da organização, eles acabaram me dando esse bandeirão aqui enorme, que eu achei que não era tão grande assim, mas estão aqui.
So she basically said that she's friends with the organization, like the manager and all, and they gave it to her, and of course she's like standing it, like showing it to the public, because it's very big, but you know, it's good, it's beautiful. E você acha que vai ser 2-0 easy, coisa linda, ou 2-1?
Sendo bem sincero, eu acho que vai ser um 2-1.
Mas pra AKV, que você tá com a bandeira dos caras.
É óbvio. óbvio, pra AKV.
So she said it's gonna be like 2-1, sorry, for AKV, of course, also because of the flag. Vamos ver se vai ser isso mesmo, porque o jogo tá pegado e a tendência é que continue desse jeito.
I've been loving the merch coming out of Game Changers across the board, and what an experience and what an honor it is to be in the crowd to witness your favorite players on such an important stage, fans.
Definitely, and they definitely do that support because it was such a good start from AKV at the very beginning. You're seeing a bonus round converted for the side of AKV until WADA got an eco round, the GC shares that shines through, and then once they had their money right, it was WADA all along, where Starbound was not missing any single operator shot. So AKV fans definitely need to stand behind here as AKV are looking for a fight onto Sands. It goes for a 1-for-1 to start.
You see that WADA were also looking for that haunt. Almost could have been even deadlier. But it ends in a stalemate. And with Adora not here, where that boombot can be important to get through Hookah, and WADA kind of considering their options, not having the net either. Just gonna go for the contact play. Off of the Prowler of Power Pixel A. And that'll clear things up, and AKV knows something is up at B. They're gonna try and help through. Dono will be there. That main initiator, the double jump out, the double kill from Ivy will keep AKV kicking.
Wally's blocks off here the spawn so they could double up and try to take down Dono.
Oh, Dono. Wait, it's good for both? No way! Fantastic job, but if it wasn't for Starbound kind of hesitating getting around the corner, maybe it would have been a more solid trade, but fantastic work from Dono.
That was the only thing that was missing, really, to scale forward into that elbow. Trying to call your 3-2-1 and make sure you swing out together. And they were focused so much towards that spawn when they're scaling through. Juna's looking tight on her right side and goes for the wide swing and the wide peek inside, so there was no way for Starbound to trade through. So great combination, and I have to praise Ivy on how she played that perfectly for the side of AKV. If it wasn't for the jump spot, it would have never called over Dono onto the rotate. And then she would have been in a tough position to try to hold up towards B. So a great pistol gives him a chance to tie this game back up, to stay in the fray of the series.
Yeah, WADA really got to work on these pistols, though. They were, what, 0-4 on pistols in the previous series and 0-2 here now. But so far, WADA trying to take their time with it.
Really just trying to force a hand, but it's not really going to work out for the side of WADA. They've committed 2-minute resources for the split towards this A site, and you already have Tasty all the way down towards Long B with the Outlaw. So you know this hit is coming towards this A site. We're soft side jump spotting onto B, where technically you could kind of leave that confident and start rotating to help out your team on the A site. Because right now for WADA, they're just waiting for somebody to make a move. The refresh util now gets avoided, and they could start moving forward.
Especially when you have the haunt out instantly shot, but WADA still set up camp, but it's the Outlaw. Double shot. Glide will stay firm, and WADA just haven't been able to make any space. A 4K for Light. They have been explosive this map already, and the desk has talked at length about the role of the Rays, how impactful it was going to be in this map especially, but with all these kills, how quickly they could maybe get to a showstopper.
Yeah. I think right now the only thing, even though it was already a checkmate and you know that WADA were committed towards this A site, I maybe would have waited another 5 seconds or something before hitting into there, because right now you just avoided the KO knife, but you're instantly going for a pop into the A site. For AKV, they haven't really reacted into what misinformation they're getting from the knife to over-rotate already, so you're still walking into the stack. They don't know yet either that they're playing a double Outlaw, and they just finally did as Tasty swung out and Starbound gets that pick.
Starbound, it's going to still take their time to re-clear through. And WADA's win condition has been around this chamber. Kind of the mind games that this forces. Now, a lot of more First Bloods come Starbound's way. You know that Raze is in that kind of one and done. Well, done, and they would have to take the teleporter to get out. But see that AKV support comes out with the Prowler and teleports out from Starbound.
God, I mean, this is over rotations coming out from AKV. We'll talk about it in a sec, because this is a weak site, A site for WADA to take over. A 4 versus 1 here.
See if these stingers, though, could do some work. Tura, maybe trying to linger in the darkness for the right moment, but Juna's the one with the surprise, wrapping around through the back of U-Haul as AKV's backline's getting pushed. And with that deadlock barrier kind of splitting up AKV, it makes being mobile very complicated. At least Lied is steady on the high ground as Ivy gets around the barrier and takes back U-Haul. As WADA have now many angles to watch. One Heaven, one in U-Haul as Light swings, gets the kill. And Astralis now wants to hide away. You heard the showstopper, and Show's face gets both. Astralis is a beast.
Astralis has definitely stepped up here in this second series, and all smiles after that clutch. Showstopper, you just mentioned it, was heading towards her way. They already knew it of where Astralis is playing, yet she comes out to get this double spray onto the last two players to keep WADA in the lead. That said, though, this over-rotation from AKV I did not like at all. You've already tucked in the raise behind the Waylay in the first place to let down towards Long B. You already had the element of surprise. Now you have to move bot and Prowler at the same time to waste util. You picked up a Norb to give your information on an A site, and then you over-rotate towards B to give up A in the first place. Thankfully, they were still able to win gunfights to keep the game kind of close to their advantage, but that was a little bit of macro decisions that was not really working out in their favor, not giving us a chance to win that round in the first place. WADA continuing their lead and trying to insert Raze at the very beginning here towards that short A side.
Man, Astralis has grown so much since the Ariana's Grande perfume days and has been a teammate of Starbound, a friend for so long. Now just in a different world, on a big stage. WADA have not let that previous match get to them. Man, the crowd is excited for them too. We can hear it. But you see that everyone's settling in for AKV. Now the op on the defense here for Tasty is Astralis looking to make a play. And all kinds of util being thrown from net to barrier to seize. WADA fully take over. What is this from Ivy? Within Hookah finds the right moment. The window of opportunity to split WADA wide open. Juna is now lost in the sauce. There is no salvaging this.
You definitely see the difference there when you're trying to play the bait and switch. So Ivy doesn't really show too much of her hand of where she's positioned inside that site. So when Tasty gets the same insert as they did the previous round, you're playing that 1v1 against Starbound, and then Starbound's calling for the players of WADA to come through Hookah and try to get the pincer maneuver onto Tasty. But then you saw Ivy off cam playing the Octagon off angle, gets an easy mow down, and including the spike carrier. That was just that was just not well.
That was her.
Yeah, it was. And that was just not well managed here for WADA. Look at how easy this becomes. A fake clear towards that left side becomes an easy 3K, and then a combination from that saturate allows Ivy to get the 4th kill. Very good round.
It's been a lot on these fades to kind of solo hold B or maybe have a duo, and at what time do you delay? At what time do you get active? And when do you want to wait for reinforcements and not? A huge moment for Ivy and a nice first blood from Tasty. The op settled here on B. Miss WADA just with pistols are still hoping to put the pressure on. Now you got mollies that are going to split your path, so WADA got to head elsewhere. There's already some clearance too from Starbound. Oh, the shotgun gets spotted. Something WADA can recover. WADA more focused on trying to get this spike down and maybe even hit this backline before AKV show face. But you can't let Tasty go on this flank. This is going to be really suspicious, because if this doesn't work out, that's going to be an op for WADA, and Juna will get to recover that. Oh boy, AKV at least got to get some work done on the front lines, and Tura is playing with fire. Power Pixel A gonna burn. Now it's 2 versus 1. You have the op in the picture. Juna able to recover that. Now Dano in a lot of trouble. There's still some util from Astralis to waste Dano's time. Now the save comes in at the last second. We'll have WADA back in the lead.
And off an eco for the side of WADA to capitalize on another lead here. in this series. That said, there was once again a big over rotate from the A site towards B. Tasty gave up their spot. They got a nice, beautiful op kill in the very beginning, but once you give up that site, they felt like they were being pressured too much that they called the rotate over. You spent so much util towards this B site that the IGL for the side of WADA is just going to say, okay, well, Starbound, you find your timing. We already spotted 3 players inside from util, and what we hear towards this B site, you probably have a 1 versus 2 maximum on A site. They clear out the site, they scale up perfectly, and the judge gets 0 value, and it's so hard to retake on that side after when WADA are playing all the way back up the A site. I would have liked to see maybe the Nightfall come out instantly from Ivy, just like WADA did when you were playing an anti-eco on their attacks, on their defensive side.
Nightfall from Showers right at the feet of Tura. It's gonna try and challenge WADA. Now a counter Nightfall, the retake ensues, and AKV kind of split from this molly that was thrown, and Astralis can still go fishing with the Annihilation. Kind of letting AKV exhaust their util and seeing where Tasty ends up dashing, which is towards Showers. A lot of space being taken from AKV. Struggle City, though, for WADA to make this a clean post play. Look at all the information. And Starbound has to hit shot through the wall. That's when you know you're in trouble, and the op drops, and so does the rest of WADA.
A huge fumble for the side of WADA in that back of the site. Juna running out of bullets, or maybe fumbling, fat fingering the self pad onto that one. But fumbling the util. Was going for a spray, caught the fade out in the open, but switches out to the molly right after. And I was actually questioning on that side, how come Ivy still once again hasn't thrown out the Nightfall here to flood back towards that site and open her a gap here for WADA to take. But as soon as you miss that fumble towards that back of the site, there's already 3 players flooding towards that front. And then unfortunately, the veterancy of those 2 players in PowerPix LA and Starbound are not enough to hold back the 2 versus 4.
Now that's something to get AKV back in the game, because you get drifted from WADA, things were sketchy, you gifted an op to WADA, which you know that's their bread and butter. But now everything needs to settle back down. We have a tie game 9-9. This is the first match for AKV, while WADA have a double header, so this is a big day.
A huge day for WADA for sure, or all the 3 teams rather, because how this works, we're in Swiss stage or group stage so far. 1 representative from LATAM, 1 from North America, and 1 from South America. And you're playing this round robin where the top 2 moves into grand finals tomorrow to get the final spot to go into GCC to represent the 2nd seed of Americas behind Shopify Rebellion Gold. So you're gonna need to be dominant, at least for WADA. A W is nice, but a dominant W to give you round differential, map differential to your advantage against whatever would happen here in the final matchup between AKV and MIBR is definitely what's needed for their side to step out of this tournament, step out of this day comfortable. For AKV, they come up with their trump card, a brand new composition. It seems to be working out pretty decently well for how they're playing their map. So they're looking pretty good here to at least make it a 2-0 or 2-1 series on their side.
See, Tasty has been such a huge part of these openers for AKV and Starbound. Through kind of the chaos of prowlers and traps going on, you find important trade, you remove the op, you make things looser as WADA now taking advantage of the space given to them. Now Ivy gonna get pressed. Adora just playing with their food at this point. Because of that null command, it made things real awkward for WADA as they're kind of waiting things out, and AKV a little nervous on how to approach. It may just come down to Lied on the judge, and when they want to pop out, as an orbital strike ensues from Tura, gets WADA scattered to the perimeter. Is this where AKV can take advantage? Or what a nade from Adora to keep that stalemate going, and this is where Lied can show face, and the absolute collapse. AKV pinch from all sides, and WADA are left having to evacuate and hold off through main, and Starbound is still a threat, and there's still good firepower. The last dying breath, PowerPix LA tried to delay as much as they could, and now AKV will have the lead.
That's not bad. You're taking this on your thrifty round using 2 ults to make it very expensive for the side of AKV. Started off here with the Dota Fuss from Starbound to get the opener. And then we're moving in with Jonah picking up the op, and they're getting value out of it. I love here that we're vibing on the side of AKV, but that is still only a 1-point lead. It hasn't been picked up at AKV at least this time around, but they are definitely keeping this game close. And I think with this timeout, from what King Fred could maybe be talking with their team, is the fact that they are leveraging a lot of the Ivy and Tasty combination on the op with the Fade Util. So you are able to push them back. You can overtake the site, and AKV likes to play these flood retakes. So if you're being able to set up and push these guys back from the spawn, gives you a chance here.
It's always a bloodbath between these two teams. Now AKV get humbled, and it's just Dono at 70 HP. At least he's able to force out more util. Now there's multiple openings. There's WADA taking over B long. There's only 2 left for reinforcements. At this point, you have 600 credits for Tasty. The op is still gonna be present. Kind of have Tura bait out. And now the slow approach. Kind of wait for the swing from Adora inside a box, and you can have that call from the teammate. The secondary, and Adora gets flicked on by Tura. Now Power Pixel just misses, and Starbound. Now the ball is in AKV's court. What an insane retake. This duo now has to stop Starbound for good, and they do.
Very nice retake in the end under 2 versus 3 for the side of AKV. Again, the entry started off perfectly. You talked about the bloodbath towards Sands. Both teams kind of read each other quite well, so they trade this off on the Sands control. The advantage goes back onto WADA as soon as Dano gets picked off through the smoke. But when it comes down to walking back into a site, the way that they scale back on this side, unfortunate missed shots from 2 players from the side of WADA allows AKV to play continuous 2 versus 1 and a trade towards the end. And that allows here AKV to start walking away with the lead and potentially seizing the first map in their favor, stealing another map away from WADA's map choice. Remember, they picked up Ascent against MIBR. We know the results of that before too. Very one-sided for the side of MIBR. Now AKV are 2 rounds away of picking up WADA's map pick again in this series when they haven't shown bind in a very long time. This is an untested comp for them to play in an official. A huge, huge gamble to take. And it's working out.
Spike down A.
Tasty always profits in these early moments. And to get the spike down, which is something WADA have to spend time clearing through. It's like AKV want to pop out the teleporter or do anything insane. They don't know what's on the horizon, so...
Can't use that.
Now you invest the net. Now it's back to what's the Charlotte's gonna do with this annihilation? Do you go in here blindly? Do you try to draw Kave into a fight and let loose after? You got Lied too with a showstopper, but they're on the other side of the world. It's more about Tasty and how they can hold this heaven angle. And WADA do not want to keep testing that up.
At least they have the annihilation to work with for Astralis. So right now it's obvious that they are consistently playing this Octagon slight right B side too. So I wouldn't be surprised right now if WADA want to try to jump out the window and scale back on that side again. But the knife stops a lot of that util.
Oh, the deja vu of WADA jumping down 1 by 1. And they'll take a knee to Ivy and the rest of this defense. AKV. This defense holding on to match point now on a map we haven't seen from them since March. This was WADA's pick, and they really thought they hit a weakness. Salt in the wound to go to AKV's most banned map, and this is a tough lesson for WADA.
It definitely did give me a head scratcher when we're looking at the vetoes of how this proceeded into these maps. Because AKV actually banned out Lotus, even though it's a strong map for WADA, yes. But they also, I think, went like 7-0 in the regular series, a season for themselves as AKV on Lotus. So it is a comfortable map for them too. And with the way that they're currently playing and the way that they're also out-dueling and out-firing WADA so far, it almost felt like it was almost WADA be able to win the series off the vetoes. But now I'm seeing AKV looking so good right here, coming out with this, again, this Waylay and this Raze. Double up on the defensive side or double outlaw on the defensive side. And then also how they're opening up on the attack side too is making it very difficult for WADA to adjust on time. Yes, they're able to get into sites here and there, but then the KO is probably the biggest thing, the second biggest layer that they have to try to take down so far. Because when they're throwing this knife and they're blocking all that util from the side of WADA, at that point, you're going to have to stop. You can't jump out through the smoke anymore. You're going to have to stop, cut noise. You still have time to work with on your side of WADA. Try to rework that map.
Timeout for WADA after only winning 2 rounds in this second half, and one of them off of a thrifty. Just when things looked so good for them, they were steamrolling at the end of that first half. WADA were feeling good, and now it's AKV that are excited, grinning, looking for a kill. It's a showstopper that gets the spike down. AKV are speed running this final round, at least what it seems. And Astralis has been holding on to this annihilation. You gotta find a nice angle. There's always been someone in this hookah side. It's usually been Ivy. Now you just feed more. These beasts of AKV take map 1, 13-9. Last life for WADA as AKV kick off their doubleheader in style.
Definitely coming out with confidence too in that last round, losing already Starbound and Parapixel A off the rip. You're asking a lot here for the newcomers of Astralis Juna and the sub Adora to try to clutch a 3 versus 5. Unfortunately, no kills come in their favor, and whatever started on their side in terms of confidence, all these clutches that were coming out from Astralis as well, good plays coming out from Juna, was just snuffed in the end by Macro on the side of AKV when AKV